Hi, I'm James from RV Sales Australia in Thomastown, Melbourne, and today we're going to do an in-depth walkthrough of the Regal dual motorhome, and this is the two-berth configuration built on a Mercedes-Benz cab chassis. Regal built the motorhome on top of a 519 long wheelbase rear-wheel drive Mercedes Sprinter cab chassis. The GVM is 4,490 kilograms, meaning that this motorhome has the ability to be driven on a standard car license. We'll come back to the Mercedes cab chassis at the end, but at the beginning of the build of the motorhome is a grab handle with a night light and LED built into it. We have the Dometic entry door. And the great thing about this door is it's got a magnet on the back section of it, so it just goes and attaches to the body of the motorhome like so. And then when you wish to detach the glass panel and separate it from the main door with the fly screen, you just pull that lever and the door is now separated. When you wish to reattach it, you just grab the door, apply pressure, and now it's locked into place. Below the main entry door is an electric entry step. So if I go and open the door again, and press the button, the step retracts. In this large external locker, we have a TV bracket. So this gives you the ability to go and bring one of the TVs that are currently mounted internally to the outside part of the motorhome and fix it to the bracket. Now, just below the external locker for the TV is two storage lockers, which I've just opened up. Also fixed to the awning side of the motorhome are two external speakers. There's a picnic table here in the center with a decal of Australia, so you can go and mark all the locations you've traveled around. 10 amp outlet over here, and then below that there's a double USB port and 12 volt outlet. Toward the rear of the motorhome is a toilet cassette locker. So obviously the toilet cassette for the Thetford ceramic bowl and lid toilet is fitted here at the rear, and we'll have a look at the toilet when we go inside afterwards. That's where the cassette's housed. Then below this you have an external barbecue bayonet. So when traveling, you can go and plug your barbecue hose directly into the barbecue bayonet over here, which is linked up to the two 4.5 kilo gas bottles on the driver's side of the motorhome. Just beyond the barbecue bayonet is a little red light, and that's the indicator for the Wi-Fi alarm system, which we'll explain a little bit further when we go inside. The motorhome has a large 12 volt electric awning from Carefree fitted, and this awning has an LED strip that runs along the barrel, which I'll go and open up in a moment so we can see, and a couple of awning lights fitted below. I've just returned to the entryway of the motorhome where the button for the rollout awning is. Here's the rollout awning now fully set up with the LED strip that runs along the barrel, as I mentioned earlier. Now at the rear of the motorhome, we have a reverse camera which is fitted to the top over there, just above the Regal insignia. We've got some decals and logos back here for the Mercedes, tail lights, number plate bracket. Now the motorhome has two 95 litre fresh water tanks fitted. So one is here on the left hand side, covered with some gull sheet protection. On the right hand side is the other 95 litre fresh water tank, and then in the center is your grey water tank with outlet going off to the side over here. Just beyond the grey water tank is the spare wheel for the motorhome. This is a 519 Sprinter, as I mentioned earlier, with a dual wheel setup at the rear, which is more preferable for weight distribution and stability when driving. There's a couple of mud flaps either side of the spare wheel. Now I've just come onto the driver's side of the motorhome. There are two solar panels fitted to the roof, which are both 200 watts, so 400 watts for the solar. On the left over here are two lockable water tank fillers for each tank. On the right hand side of that is an external shower, which features hot and cold water. Just below the external shower is the mains inlet for the motorhome for fresh water. There's a couple of valves here, left and right, for both fresh water tanks. So if you flick those valves and have mains hooked up to the motorhome, it'll actually fill up the fresh water tanks. Saves you from having to use the water tank fillers. And there's an outlet tap in here also. Now I've just gone and closed the doors for the external shower and the inlet box. And on the right over here is 15 amp inlet, along with a circuit breaker, which has a lockable door also. To the right of that are a couple of vents for the Dometic 188 litre compressor fridge, which we'll have a look at inside. There's a vent above that for the microwave, external ventilation for the 240 volt / gas Swift 28 litre hot water unit, which is next to the fridge. Now, just below the Swift 28 litre hot water unit is a few storage lockers. Now, the locker door on the left features the two 4.5 kilo gas bottles, which are fitted in there with a regulator in the center. The door to the right of the gas bottles features the two 120 amp hour iTech World lithium batteries. And to the right of the batteries is another storage locker that currently has a wheel chock fitted in it. Now I've come into the cabin of the Mercedes and we're greeted with the steering wheel. On the right hand side there is a trackpad to navigate through the menu on the cluster. There's also some buttons down here for the cruise control. On the left hand side there's another trackpad which actually allows you to navigate through the menu on the center screen. Then there's also some buttons down here to answer phone calls and turn the volume up and activate the voice recognition for the Mercedes. The center screen for the Mercedes gives you the ability to navigate from your mobile over to the radio, media devices, settings, applications. The vehicle also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So as long as your phone is connected via the USB-C port in the console at the top of the dash, you'll have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto appearing on the screen over here in the center. There's some further storage areas with cup holders on the dash in front of the driver and also the passenger. The reversing camera also appears here where there would usually be a rear vision mirror. Above the driver's seat, there's a little storage area. There's also another storage area here above the passenger seat that is lockable. When entering the motorhome, we're greeted with the entry steps, which are illuminated with the LED strip lighting. There's a grab handle on the right hand side. On the left hand side there is a fire extinguisher and there's a couple of switches. One's to cut off the lighting for the entry step. The other is to cut 12 volt to the motorhome. And then the remaining switch up here is to retract the electric step. Okay, now we're inside the motorhome. And in the front section where the Lude and Peak area is, there are some storage cupboards. There is the option to convert this storage area in the Lude and Peak over to a bed, if that is more preferable for you. In the top left corner, there is a motion sensor for the Wi-Fi alarm system. There is also a door sensor over here, so that when the door opens, the beam is triggered and it would activate the Wi-Fi alarm system that's fitted to the motorhome as standard. If the Wi-Fi alarm is armed, and either the door sensor is triggered or the motion sensor up here is triggered, the exterior lights, being the tail lights, the indicators and the side markers, along with a horn that is fitted with the Wi-Fi system, will alarm. We've also included the optional GPS tracker, so when a customer does purchase this motorhome, they'll go and enter in the serial numbers for the GPS tracker and activate it with Wi-Fi. Above the entry door is a magazine pouch along with a 32-inch smart TV. In this cupboard just to the right of the entry door is a drop-down bench extension. In the kitchen area you have a sink with a 3-way tap, The first spout over here is for hot and cold water, which is controlled by the flick mixer at the top. And then the secondary spout is controlled by this flick mixer and is for filtered water. The cartridge is below the sink, so you can exchange it in the future. For cooking, we have the Swift 600 series cooktop grill and fan forced oven. Now that the lid is open, we'll be able to see the 240 volt hot plate on the top left, and then the 3 gas burners, gas griller, and below is the fan forced gas oven. Above the cooktop and grill is the touchscreen range hood. So this has a built-in LED, then you can power it on, power it back off. There's an LED just above the sink. There's also one of the 3 dedicated inverter power points here in the kitchen area. We'll explain that a little bit later when we go to the electrics cabinet. Above the kitchen, we have some storage cupboards on gas struts. On the left, we have the touchscreen Pioneer stereo, which controls the 2 interior speakers as well as the 2 exterior speakers. There's some storage besides the cooktop grill and oven, and then there is also the power supply unit for the Malenco dish antenna that is fitted to the roof. The great thing about the Malenco antenna is there's no need to wind up and reposition the antenna dependent upon location when you tune the TV. Now we'll move over to the seating area. On the left, we have an adjustable 12 volt fan. There's an LED strip that runs along the cupboard space at the top. On the left, there's just a large storage area. In the electrics cabinet on the left, we have a 40 amp solar controller and DC to DC charger. So while the engine of the motorhome is running, you will have charge coming into your DC to DC charger, and in turn charging the 2 120 amp hour lithium batteries. As well as being a DC to DC charger, is also a solar controller. So the 2 200 watt solar panels are wired into this unit and also charging the batteries. On the right hand side, we have a 20 amp Enerdrive battery charger, which when connected to 240 volt, the battery charger is in turn charging your lithium batteries. In the far left hand corner, we have a fuse box. To the right of that, we have 2 switches for the Swift 28 litre gas and electric hot water unit. So if you are at a caravan park or have mains power hooked up to the motorhome, you can flick this switch and your hot water unit will begin to warm up. Alternatively, if you are free camping, you would utilize the gas element of the hot water unit, turn it on, and it'll go through its lighting sequence and in turn light. To the right of those, we have a switch for the 2000 watt Enerdrive inverter that's fitted to the motorhome as standard. So there is another one of the dedicated inverter double power points in the caravan in this cupboard. At the moment, we have the microwave plugged into it, and I've turned on the inverter, and now we have power coming into the microwave. Now I've just opened up the microwave. This is an NCE microwave, and this is a dishless model. So while you are driving, there's no plate that's going to be rattling around and causing noise. I'll now come back over to the inverter remote switch and power it back off. And if you are connected to mains power, you would just make sure that your lead for the microwave is plugged into the circuit that is linked up to the 15 amp inlet on the side of the motorhome. Here we have a battery protector, and then up in the corner we have the 12 volt pump switch. To the right of the electrics cupboard, we have a display over here for the 2 fresh water tanks. So I've just powered it on, and we can see that tank 1 is at 3/4 and tank 2 is completely full currently. There's a map reading light in the seating area, window with blockout and fly screen like all the windows and hatches in the motorhome. Below the window we have a double power point, and then there is also a USB/USB-C port. Below that we have a tri-fold out table with a seating area with headrest and kick-up footrest, and some storage below. Now I've just gone and set up the kick-up footrest. I've gone and pulled the tri-fold table out, and I've gone and rotated the swivel seats for the Mercedes cab. Now we'll move back over into the central part of the motorhome where the 188 litre Dometic fridge and freezer is situated, along with the NCE microwave. So I've powered the compressor fridge on, And as we can see by the display in the center, the power supply is currently coming from the two 120 amp hour lithium batteries. As soon as I go and plug in 240 volt to the motorhome, it'll switch over to 240. It is a two-way auto sensing fridge, so it'll adapt between both power supplies dependent upon what is hooked up to the van. Freezer at the top, and then fridge at the bottom. Fitted to the roof is the Dometic Ibis 4 reverse cycle air conditioner. On either side of the east-west bed is wardrobe hanging space with a mirror fitted. On both bedside tables there is a double power point and then USB/USB-C port. Above the east-west bed is a small bed head. Then there is also a window along with two map reading lights. On the left we have the circuit breaker for the 2000 watt inverter. We also have a couple of power switches. We also have a couple of switches, one being for the LED strip that runs along the top of the bed. Some storage above also. I've now just opened up the 3 storage cupboards above the bed. The central cupboard features a shelf. On the right hand side wardrobe there's another magazine pouch, and then there is also the remote and temperature setting for the Webasto diesel heater that's fitted to the motorhome. I've now lifted up the east-west bed, and in the far left-hand corner here is the EnerDrive 2000 watt inverter. Just below this paneling is the Webasto diesel heater that's linked up to the 93 litre diesel tank of the Mercedes Sprinter. The bed is on gas struts and there's obviously a large storage area beneath it. Also included with the mattress is a bolster, so if you do wish to use it, you just simply slide out the frame, pull out the mattress and tuck the bolster down. As mentioned, there is a window across from the east-west bed. Also in the corner is another smart TV. This is a 24-inch smart TV, and then there is a storage cupboard below and above, and there's also a smoke detector up here also. Situated above the east-west bed is another adjustable 12 volt fan, along with a push-up hatch with LED lights built into it. Moving into the rear of the motorhome, we have the ensuite, the Thetford ceramic bowl toilet. There's also a toilet roll holder. There's a couple of towel rail holders on the lockable sliding door. There's a window in the far corner. Hatch/fan above that. To the left of the Thetford toilet, there's a couple of double power points. The one on the left is the last of the 3 inverted double power points that we've been referring to throughout the walkthrough. Below that we have a storage area. To the left of that we have another lift up door with a 3.3 kilogram top loader washing machine with an access door at the front also. There's 2 storage cupboards above. All the lift up doors have gas struts and piano hinges throughout the motorhome. Below the ensuite basin is some storage, and then there's a large bowl sink with a black flick mixer, mirror, and LED above. To the left of the bowl sink is a large shower with an LED and then another hatch and fan built in with black flick mixer and black door frame also. This particular motorhome has been fitted with the interior black pack, so this gives you the black door handles, the flick mixers, the sinks all in black along with the power points, fans, towel rail holder and toilet roll holder. When ordering a Regal motorhome, the customer has the ability to choose the door color, the benchtop color, the splashback color, if they wish to have the stainless pack or black pack on the interior. Our customers also have a variety of seating colors and vinyl flooring colors to choose from when speccing their motorhome. Now, thank you very much for watching. If you have any further questions in relation to our Regal motorhomes that we offer, please do not hesitate to contact us. Our details will be in the description of this video.